The CSL Elites being discontinued was a huge disappointment. The supposed replacement, the CSLs, made it even more so. I mean, they're good pedal sets, but they're really not the same thing. The Elites were so much better. In reality, I much prefer the CSL Elite brakes to the V3s because they feel so much more substantial. And now Fanatec brought this V2 version. The CSL Elites were sent by Fanatec for review, and I also have an affiliate link with them. All opinions are my own, and as always, there's no interference in the review process. The V2's promises to fix all the shortcomings of the previous version, and in order to do so, they changed the position of the load cell to the bottom of the movement, which continues to be a 90 kilo load cell. They also replaced the sensors with Hall effects, so that will improve longevity of the pedal sets, and they also improve the quality of the assembly, and the pedals won't move side to side, and also the finish is different. Let's talk about the price. 299 euros or dollars, which is an increase of about 40 to 50 from the old V1s. I mean, it's not bad, but could be better. The box is very typical Fanatec. When you open up, it starts to insulting your racing ability to the point you go into bed and start crying. Then inside the box, it's very Spartan. Basically just some protection. The pedals are inside a bag, and then there is a box of goodies. The box of goodies comprise of tools, some extra elastomers, and also something really cool that is new. It has a preload spring. This time around, there is no assembly required. The construction is well rugged, as it was with the first version. There is a ruggedized texture with a new sandblasting finishing.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god. It even has a watermark.
And everything is very well tightened together. There is no side-to-side sway on the pedals, something that plagued the first version of this pedal set. The rubber pedal faces can be removed, but this time around there is no sandpaper coming in the box. The load cell is moved down to fix an inconsistent brake pedal issue that would happen in certain types of driving styles, and then of course the Hall sensor should make everything far more reliable. A small, maybe unnoticed change is the side cut for the mounting bolts. It will make the installation far easier. The electronics box is at the bottom and in the most difficult place to access possible, so connect the cables first. You can either connect it standalone to the PC or connect it to a Fanatec wheelbase for PC and console compatibility. Only connect one at a time though, otherwise you may risk damage. The pedals have removable rubber feet. The usability on the floor will be difficult unless the load cell rate is dropped. That can be either done through the software or through the wheelbase. To move the pedal side to side or even remove one, you'll have to undo the bolts at the bottom, then take off the rear stabilizers. Once in place, the rear stabilizers need to be put together in place. But because the pedals can be removed from the plate, this means it's possible to invert them or use them without the heel plate altogether. The brake elastomers can be swapped. There's a new tool set that makes those changes very simple and fast. With the addition of a new preload spring, the braking can be totally tailored to you. And I say braking because, well, the throttle and clutch spring cannot be changed. Even though it is a refresh or a second version, the small changes they made are impressive and definitely a step above from the previous version. Going back to a set of Elite pedals after 2 years on V3s, it's something quite interesting. I much prefer this brake pedal on the CSL Elite on the first one than I ever did with the V3s, because there's more possibilities of modulation and customizabilization on the brake pedal alone, and that makes you have a better braking experience in my opinion. I think the brake on the V3 is, while decent, it doesn't have enough brake travel or customizability options like the Elites have. Now with this one, it's even better. It's better than I remember. It's very, very simple to use and very simple to modulate the brake. I just feel right at home with this brake pedal in ways that I never felt with the V3 before. It just allows you to release and trail brake far easily than the V3s because of a slightly bigger brake travel it feels. And because I'm using like a preload spring, something that wasn't ever available with the V3s, and on the first Elites it was if you got mods from eBay or something. It just feels such a more natural experience than it is with the V3s. So on T1 it is needed to brake hard and start modulating the throttle trail, braking into the corner so you can make it. And look at that, I'm already catching the times with V3s. And over here, this is something that I overshot constantly with the V3s, and over here, it's, for me, far easier to make the corner. Indianapolis, it's actually a good place, a good track to test pedals, I found, because it allows you to do a lot of trail braking. There are 3 corners where you need to trail brake quite heavily. For example, over here, second gear, and over here you have to maintain. This is more of a throttle control and just tiptoeing the brake as well. And I just feel much more at home with this set of pedals, at least on the brake. Now, in terms of rates, spring rates for the throttle and clutch, in my opinion, they're a bit too light, but this is more of a generalistic use type of pedal at a lower price point. It's not really that low, but it's a lower price point. And it kind of makes sense that it is this way, because it's possible technically to use it on the floor. I would prefer a slightly stiffer throttle spring, not so much on the clutch is okay, but on the throttle I would much prefer a stiffer throttle with the same type of travel. Good travel is, it's good to have some travel in a throttle, not too much, otherwise you'll be lost in it. But at the point for me, because I'm used to the pedal, the throttle pedal on the V3s, I much prefer that pedal on the V3s, especially as I have it, and I do have the hydraulic add-on for the V3 pedal. There we go. Good exit. Very strong on the brakes there. And if that thing is okay, it is my first 34 using a pedal set that I have about a few hours of experience with it. It tells you a lot about the brake pedal and how much performance you can extract from it. Toga for me continues to be the best way to test sim racing hardware. Pedals are no exception. This way we can really test the pedals, the heel and toe, clutch kicking if we drift a little bit. And honestly, this pedal set in terms of heel and toe is phenomenal. The CSL V1s were already like so. And because how I have set up my pedal, it does feel more like a road car type of pedals. It kind of reminds me a little bit of my Giulietta with the pump preloaded. So it feels like I'm driving a road car with a road car type of brake. Man, this thing is fast. But it's super easy to go down the gears with the heel and toe. And you really do need to do the heel and toe for this in most cases. And also just a little bit of brake taps to make the car compose a little more, or make the car unsettle a little bit, so you can point the car to the desired direction. And just like in the Assetto Corsa Competizione, for me the biggest downfall for it, it's not an issue once again, is that the throttle rate it's a bit too soft for me. Man, really good. This car is nuts. Somebody will be saying in the comments, "Oh, Random, why don't you drift?" I don't know how to drift this car. It feels like it's killing me from the rear if I go sideways without any experience while doing a video like this. It will end up looking silly. Oh, that's a fourth gear. And I missed the gate. And once again, I should have gone to another gear. That for Toga, this thing is bonkers. I really like these pedals. Doesn't feel like so racy, like the V3s feel. Super soft. This feels more like a road kind of deal for the throttle and clutch. Man, I really love the heel and toe here. Far more than on the V3s. Man, what a great pedal set. Okay, conclusion time. The previous CSL Elites were basically a pedal set that I liked a lot, and the brake pedal for the CSL Elites was amazing. Now it's even better with the addition of the upgrades that they come with. This pedal feels very progressive. It's super easy to trail brake, and it's super easy to make sure that you have the right type of modulation with it. You can really customize the rigidity of your braking. You can make it softer, you can make it harder, and with the same-ish type of elastomer, the same-ish type of resistance, it kind of feels that it has a longer throw. It might not be for everybody, but in this case it is for me. That longer throw does help with trail braking, and trail braking is something that I'm very bad at, and this pedal set actually helps a lot. I would prefer stiffer race on this. Very likely it will be the case of swapping the throttle and the clutch like you do on the other CSLs. If Fanatec offered an upgrade for the throttle and clutch in terms of rates, you know, an extra thing here or there, I think this would be the perfect type of pedals for almost everybody, and it would be, in my opinion, better than the V3s. Now for the price. The price is a bit thorny. I'm not going to say it's a ripoff because I don't think it is. It's just not as good as value as the CSL Elites were, because the other ones were like $250. These ones are $300. I think with all of the upgrades, this could be a pedal set for about 250 to 270 euros, but I kind of understand it, but it just makes me think it's not as good a deal as the other was. Now, some of you will be on the old CSL Elites and you'll be asking yourself, oh, I have these, should I upgrade to the V2s? My answer is no, and you really shouldn't go to the V3s as well. The pedals, in, you know, the greater scheme of things, even though the V2s are better, I don't think it's worth your time to sell it and get these new ones. You're not going to get a massive difference in between both. You get a little bit, especially on consistency on the braking because of the movement or where the load cell now is. Makes it a little more consistent. But if you don't have problems with that, there's really no point going to the V2s. If you are having issues with the potentiometers, just get, you know, third-party Hall sensors for the V1 CSL Elites. And if you're looking for a wheelbase to go with a pedal set like this, check out this video of comparison between two of the hottest wheelbases right now, the Mozza R9 and the CSL DD/DD Pro. I think you're going to find it interesting.